Satoshi Saturday number 86. 100 Satoshis per dollar is when the game starts. And as you can see here, this is probably my favorite shirt. It's only ever going to be at the most just under 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I want to talk to you about today. What is up, guys? It is Saturday, October 4th, 2025, the first Saturday of October. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 917,660. TikTok next block. The Bitcoin price today, as of this recording, is about 122,300 and something, but that's not the important part. You guys know that. The important part is you can get yourself 817 Satoshis. And yes, I said it, for $1. My goodness, guys, welcome back to another episode of Satoshi Saturday. It's the official Satoshi Saturday. I believe I'm the only one that does these. And as you can see from the title, we don't start until we can only get 100 Satoshis for $1. Now, let me explain what I mean by this, okay? Most of you guys know this, but this is Satoshi Saturday. My name is Jerry from Jerry Loves Freedom, all right? And real quick, I am a Bitcoin maxi when it comes to my savings and investing or whatever. I don't really invest in anything. But for me, Satoshi's Bitcoin is the best way to save, and for me, the only way to save. And I don't put my energy into anything else outside of Bitcoin. I just don't. And I'm a Freedom maxi. And again, the reason why I save in Satoshis is because I love freedom. It's as simple as that. And it's the truth, Satoshis. It's the money of the future. It's of the people, for the people, and by the people. It will break the system. This is episode number 86. It will 86 get rid of the old system. I truly believe that. And we have to understand where we're at on the timeline here. And real quick, we're in the fourth quarter of the year 2025. It's the first quarter, fourth day of the fiscal year of 2026. And the government is shut down as of this recording, day 4. I haven't really checked it. It might be open, but I think they're closed still. And there's a lot of opportunities going on, especially with the Bitcoin price going up and everything else. And also, I do live streams every single day. Every day. I'm thinking about taking Sundays off, but I do them every day. So if you like Bitcoin talk and other things that has to do with freedom and everything else, I talk a little politics, but mostly centered around Bitcoin and stuff like that, because I'm God, family, country, Bitcoin. Check out some of my old lives and join me on the live streams. And I give out free Satoshis every day, every single day, 7 days a week. I have a wheel of Satoshi, I call it, and I spin it, and I give at least 100 sats out a day, or at least 100 sats per spin a day. And on Fat Sat Fridays, I do 200 and more. So join us in our great community and getting some free sats and having some fun. But where we're at on the timeline is simple. We're not even at the starting gate yet. People are not going to understand how powerful Bitcoin is until it gets over $1 million per Bitcoin. That's when the news and everything else is going to start really talking about it better, because right now we're putting a squeeze on the mainstream media right now. The CNBCs and, CNN and all them liberal medias. I was going to go down my list of what I call them, but if you want to know my nicknames, come to my live streams. I was just about to do it. And you'll see what I call these lamestream media outlets. And my prediction, real quick, is, and it's not that big of a prediction, but my prediction is we'll hit a million price, 1 million per coin, $1 million US per coin in epoch number 6 sometime. Now we're in epoch number 5, but I think we'll do it in the first 2 years of the epoch. I don't know when. Now, when is that? When's the epoch start? It starts in 2028. That's the next halving. And I think it'll do it the latest in the second year and the earliest within the first 3 to 6 months of that epoch of 2028. Okay, that's my prediction. Guys, that's not that long from now. Again, we're in the fiscal year 2026 in the fourth quarter of 2025. And as you can tell, these years are going by really, really quick. So we have basically a little over 2 to 4 years before we get to $1 million Bitcoin. Now, let me say this real quick. And again, this is Satoshi Saturdays, and we talk about Saturdays. We don't focus on Bitcoin because, again, for those of you that don't know, there is no such thing as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a marketing name. The money is Satoshis. And the Satoshis are the smallest unit of Bitcoin. There's 100 million of them in each unit of Bitcoin. It's like pennies on a dollar. So there's 100 million sats or Satoshis in each Bitcoin. And as you heard me say, you can get 817 of them for $1 today. Last year, you could get a lot more. Years before that, you can get a lot more per dollar. That's because the price has gone up. The higher the price goes, the less Satoshis you can get per dollar. Okay? Right now, again, at the price of 122,300, what you do is you take your calculator out, type the number 1 in, and then divide by the price, 122,300 and whatever it is, and then hit the equal button. And then you'll see a long number, 0.00008 something. There's 8 decimal places after Bitcoin, so in Satoshis. So there's 8 decimal places after, 8 numbers after the decimal place. So once you get to the 8th number, that's how many Satoshis you can get for $1. And it'll round up. You know, you can round it up so it's 800 and something or whatever. That's what it is. And again, you could get a lot more in the past than you could today. Well, next year, let's just say the price doubles from 122 something to 250. A lot of people think they're going to hit it this year, but let's just say it hits it next year. How many Satoshis will you get for $1 then? Well, you'll get half because the price is doubled. Instead of 817, you get 408 or 9 per dollar. Just like last year when we were at, whatever it was, 61,000 or whatever, you could get 1,634 Satoshis when the price was in half, right? So if you fast forward to 2026, when the price is doubled, this one, 250,000, you get less. Once we get to 500,000, actually 250,000, you get 400 Satoshis. Once we get to 500,000, you get 200 Satoshis for $1. And then once we hit that number, that magic number of 1 million per Bitcoin, that's when you'll get 100 Satoshis. And that, in my personal opinion, is the magic number. And I'm going to tell you why. How I think it is. The reason being, it's simple. A million is the status, is the rich status, right? Everybody wants to be a millionaire. If an asset or a savings account or savings technology or whatever gets to 1 million per unit, they're gonna be like, wow, that's a lot, right? And most people can't afford it. But the adoption by then will be much greater than it is now, and also the education and the people that will be holding Bitcoin will be a lot higher than it is now. So what I think these lamestream media companies will be doing, and I don't think they'll be lamestream as much then, because I think with Trump in office and people like myself and all these podcasters out here, and maybe there won't be any mainstream, who knows? But if they are and they want to survive, obviously they're going to have to go and do different podcasts and YouTube videos and streamings and stuff like that if there's cable around. But if they want to stay around, they're gonna have to report the news a lot better than they're doing now, because like I said, Trump and everything else is exposing these people. Okay, so they're gonna have to report it even better, and they're not gonna be as, I think they're not gonna be as biased. So what they're gonna do is, instead of saying Bitcoin is $1 million per coin, they're gonna change it on the screen, and they're gonna tell you how many sats you can get for $1, Satoshis. Satoshis, in my opinion, in 2 to 4 years, It won't be mainstream, but it'll be more mainstream than it is today. It won't be as famous as the word Bitcoin. That'll take a decade or two, decade and a half. But I believe the word Satoshis, which again, that's what Bitcoin is, a clump of Satoshis, will be more mainstream and more people will understand what it is. If you go out in the street today and ask 100 people what is a Satoshi, how many people, let's say 1,000, that's a better number. Let's say 1,000 people. How many people do you think, without looking at their phone, could tell you what a Satoshi is? Most of them might think it's Bruce Lee's Kung Fu master or something. I don't know. You know, I would say 20 maybe out of 1,000. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comment section below. But it won't be that much. But as time goes and more people, like George says, turn on the green lights, meaning once they see it, they can't unsee it. Because you can't unsee it once you go down that rabbit hole and understand what Bitcoin is. Then you'll say, wow, okay, I'm cooking here. I got something. I got something not only that can go up in value, quote unquote, but also it can help me get out of this system that I didn't even know I was trapped in. And now I understand what inflation is. I didn't know what it was before. And so when you have these mainstream medias out here having to tell the truth, then what will happen? Then the negative coverage won't be as bad, right? So I'm not saying there won't be any negative coverage at all on Bitcoin, but I think it'll be far less than it is today. I just believe that. So people still spin stuff, but people are not going to know Bitcoin is $1 million because they're only going to be talking about sats and Satoshis and the units, because again, there's only going to be a certain amount of people that can buy a full Bitcoin. So they're not going to feel like explaining that and stuff like that. Now, probably underneath the 100 Satoshis per dollar, I think they'll, say Bitcoin, blah, blah, and then maybe have a little explanation on it. And the education by then will be a lot further than it is today. But this is why I started making these Satoshi Saturday videos in early 2024, because like Wayne Gretzky says, you got to skate to where the puck is going. And I know that Bitcoin is the marketing name, but Satoshi's is the real deal. So again, guys, listen, I'm not telling you go ham and go crazy, but Bitcoin is math. If you type in 2 + 2 on a calculator and you hit the equal button, you know it's going to be 4. Some Democrats may say maybe 5 or 6 or 3. Or the shitcoiners might say that. But people with common sense knows it's 4. It's the exact same thing with Bitcoin. When people ask me, how do I know Bitcoin is going to be $1 million? Well, again, three reasons. 1, they're always going to print money. They're always going to print dollars. 2, I know the Bitcoin or the Satoshi supply issuance schedule. And 3, the demand is always going to go up for Satoshis and the supply is going to go down. Meanwhile, the supply is going up for dollars and the demand will go down. This is what's going to happen. And the less and less that come out and the more and more people adopt it, the price is just going to start going up. Now, I'm not saying $1 million in 2028 through 2032 or whatever is going to be the same purchasing power as it is today, because it's not going to be. It's not. I'm not saying that. Again, $1 million is an arbitrary number. It's all about the purchasing power. And if you don't understand that, learn what inflation is. Let me give you a hint. It comes from one place and one place only. And that's Washington, D.C. But at the end of the day, today, right now, and I've got videos. Go check out my old Satoshi Saturday. Look at my first one. My first one or my second one. I think my first one, you can get 1,900 Satoshis for $1. And then 1 or 2 of them, maybe the second or the third one, you can get like 2,000 Satoshis for $1. Same dollar, by the way. It's got less purchasing power than it did last year. But it's $1. Got you more than double Satoshis last year. And again, today you can get yourself 817 Satoshis, which may not seem like a lot, but compare yourself to someone in the future. My friend Corey from Got Sats, that's his channel, he buys $1 a day, every single day at the same time, at like 6 or 6:30 in the morning from River, he buys it from. And he gets a certain amount of Satoshis, and every few months, his Satoshis amount are going down. He's still buying it for $1. He was getting over 1,000 Satoshis for $1, 11, 12, 1,300 sometimes, I think. He's been doing it since January 2025, and now he's only getting 817. And soon, he'll only be getting 700 and something Satoshis per dollar. And we're gonna go in the 700s and the 600s. I buy on Strike, and I buy $1 every single hour. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 a year. That's what I do. I set my hourly buys. If you want to buy, and by the way, I think Strike is the best and has the lowest fees. If you want to buy with Strike, you can use my link down below, and two things will happen for you. Well, three things. Number one is your first $500 of buys will be no fees, free of fees. Your first $500 of purchase. Second thing will happen is if you set a DCA, a dollar cost average, set it on that first day, and you wait 7 days, on that 8th day, there will be no fees. And three, like I said, you can buy every hour on the hour. And my personal opinion, it's the best way to do it. So if you want to do that and to get the lowest fees and the most amount of Satoshis for your dollar, click my link below. It helps us both. And again, there's no better way, in my personal opinion, than to wake up, go to bed for 6, 8, 9 hours and wake up and have a few thousand Satoshis, or however many you buy at nighttime. Because again, you're catching all the waves up and down. But here's what's going to happen in the future, guys. This is my prediction. The first 100,000 is going to be the hardest 100,000. What do I mean by that? Well, we got to the 100,000 mark. We're well over it. We're doing just like the supply schedule says. This is the 5th epoch. Every epoch we add a zero. $10, 2 digits. $100 next epoch, 3 digits. The next epoch, 4 digits, which is 1,000 to 10 to 9,099, and then the next epoch is 10,000 to 99,000. That was last epoch, and now this epoch we're over at 100,000. I believe this is the longest we're going to stay in every 100,000 range. This one's going to be the longest we're going to stay in for many months or days or whatever. Here's what I mean. Let's just say we stay in the 100,000 range for a year and a half, right? And it's been a little bit since we hit 100,000. I think the first time we hit it was March 6th. No, I get those two confused. March 6th was when we did the SBR. Maybe it was, I don't know. It's been a few months, 6 months, 9, whatever it's been, since we hit 100,000. This first 100,000 is going to be the hardest. Once we get to 200,000, they'll talk about it on the news, but not that much. But it'll be much quicker to get from 100 to 200. It'll be much quicker to get from 200 to 300,000 than it was from 100 to 200. And then it's going to be quicker to get from 2 to 3 than it was from 1 to 2, and so on and so on and so on. Why? Why is that going to happen? Because there's going to be more dollars and more people, hodlers in the game, like me and you, green lights on. And the more people, just imagine, you buy every day, right? Most of you guys buy every day, buy every week, you got your DCA. Imagine if there was 10 more of you. They times you by 10 all around the world. How quickly you think Bitcoin will go from 100 to 2, and 2 to 3, and 3 to 4? It's going to go very, very quickly. And again, from today, early October 2025, I'm predicting we're going to go from 100 to 1 million in less than or around 4 years at the most. How long did it take us to get to that million total, right? It'd be what, 20 years by then? But we got 90% of it done in 4 years, 2 years, 4 years. So do the math and do the equations. And that's what's going to happen. And in the background, once we hit 1 million and we're at 100 Satoshis per dollar, which is still a lot, okay? Because these people that are going to be coming in are not going to believe the prices that you got. It's still going to be a lot. 100 Satoshis per dollar is a steal. In the background, when you're only getting 90 Satoshis for $1 and 80 Satoshis for $1, in the background, Bitcoin is going up exponentially. And you thought it went from 100,000 to another 100,000 quick. Watch how fast it goes from 1 million to 2 million. it's going to be a lot faster to go from 1 million to 2 million than it is 100,000 to 1 million. You mark my words on that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And again, guys, these are my predictions based on math, common sense, and the past. Nobody knows the future. I don't have a crystal ball, but I am putting my money where my mouth is. I got high 90 something percent of my net worth in Satoshis. And today, just like I said earlier, we're getting 817 Satoshis for $1. What if I gave you a time machine and the version of you came back today and said, wow, this guy Jerry was right. What do you mean? This is you. I'm talking. Yourself is talking to you. Your future self is saying, hey, man, it's I'm coming back from the year 2029. And, bro, Bitcoin right now is $1.2 million. And you're only getting, 97 sats per dollar right now. And today in 2025, as I talk to you, your future self is talking to you, you're getting 817. How hard would you stack? Would you stack harder? You tell me. That's up to you. And I don't know when this is going to happen, but one of these days, I think it'll be after the million. We hit the million. But one of these days, you're not going to be able to trade in cuck bucks for Satoshis because nobody's going to want it. Even though there's going to be stable coins underneath the US dollar, and I think it's going to prolong the US dollar's life. All I think, and this is all I say, when I see these stable coins, because it's stable in the dollar, is it's just a railroad to Bitcoin and Satoshis. And speaking of railroad, the future's on its way, and the train has not left the station yet. Some of you guys are on it. If you're not, get to 1 million Satoshis today. Today. Get to 1 million Satoshis today. Because what will 1 million Satoshis be worth when we get to $1 million Bitcoin? What will the purchasing power be of that? There's going to be a lot more Fiat millionaires than there are Satoshi millionaires. So get on the train, get on those rails, because the future is on its way. And one day, and I'm telling you this, in our lifetime, you will not be able to trade in Satoshis or dollars for Satoshis. You mark my words on that. I don't know when it's going to be, but it's going to be. And if you believe that, good for you. And if you don't, keep on studying. But the people that do believe it, and you know this, you got to skate to where the puck is going, and you got to stack accordingly. Because I'm telling you right now, there's only one person in your family, maybe you and your wife and your children after you, they won't be able to, but you and your family, your immediate family, you and your spouse, your husband, wife, or whatever, can stack as many Satoshis as you can today. Because by the time your children or your nieces and nephews or whoever is younger than you get to your age, they're not going to be even close to what you can get per dollar. And since you know that, and one day people are going to have to work for these Satoshis and not trade in cuck bucks for them, you need to do everything you can to get as many as you can today. I'm telling you that, man. I'm telling you that. So stack accordingly and do what you got to do for your future self. And do something today that your future self will thank you for. And since you guys know that, please, Lord, let these people heed these words. Stack Satoshis today. Today, guys. So that you and your family don't have to work for those exact same Satoshis tomorrow. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.